Hey, your reaction to playing these first round games in Milwaukee?
Well, it's obviously great for all our fans, alumni base, former players, all that, our parents of our current players. But we understand, obviously, it's we got a really good team on Friday night. We're going to see in Colgate, and it's a reward for having a great regular season to be able to be placed close to home. So, that's great for all the people on the outside. I also know of the distractions that come with it. So we've been very cognizant of addressing those as we've gone through the week here and making sure we're focused on the main thing for Friday night.
I wanted to ask you about those potential distractions. I know you do a really great job, and your team does, getting the team ready and focused and staying kind of in where they need to be in their headspace. The distractions of ticket requests and people being able to get to the arena so quickly that wouldn't if you were playing in Boise or somewhere else. How do you manage that, and how real is that potential distraction?
Yeah, I think it's real. I've seen we've had other teams go to Milwaukee and be close, and other places, Chicago and Minneapolis, and it can be a distraction if you allow it to be. And you mentioned a few of them. It's ticket request. It's people stopping by your hotel room. It's just the comfort that maybe comes with being close to home, and sometimes you perform better when you're a little uncomfortable. So it's all those things. We've talked about that this week to get all the ticket requests and all that stuff done by today, hopefully, and then be able to focus in really on just us for the next 48 hours.
Coach, do you get a lot of ticket requests? Does Michelle, your lovely wife, get ticket requests? Is that something you have to actively manage?
She actively manages it. Yeah, and we are out by Sunday night. Of It didn't take long.
You were here in 2014. That was kind of a magical Badgers team that played here in Milwaukee. Describe that atmosphere, and what do you remember about that Badger team being here in Milwaukee?
Yeah, and we've talked about it several times since then, John, that I don't think we rally from 12, 14 down, whatever we were against Oregon, if we're not there and don't have that type of thrust behind us vocally. Obviously, the team got things going in the right direction, and crowd jumped behind it, and it kind of fed off the other, and vice versa. So, I don't want to have to depend on that. We got to play well. But that obviously was phenomenal. There's no doubt that launched, us through that game and into the Sweet 16. And, that group ended up a week later making it to the Final Four. So, it was a special moment. We still see video clips of it and different people in different places in the arena. Everybody claims they were there that night. I don't know how the Bradley Center at that time could hold that many people, because there's been way more than capacity have told me that they were there that night. But it's a great memory, and one obviously everybody cherishes.
Ben Brust is one of our teammates now here at the station. I see him all the time. He's kind of a goofball. He's a lot of fun. He was.
I apologize for you having to put up with Ben Brust.
How often do you keep in touch with Brust?
He texts. I see him and talk to him probably more in the off season than during the season. But during the season, he's texted quite a bit. After big wins and those type of things. After we clinched the Big Ten a couple weeks ago, the higher moments, and he's been a great supporter. Obviously, he made himself into a really good player here, and now he's undefeated every game as an analyst and as a broadcaster. That's the easy chair he gets to sit in now. He's never wrong.
He does have a turnover here and there, though.
He couldn't play any defense back in the day either, so he had a few holes in his game.
Coach Greg Gard is with us on WTMJ. How rewarding is it, Coach, that this team was picked in the bottom half of the Big Ten, the lower third, by a lot of the quote-unquote experts, and you've really come together as a team and excelled? How rewarding is that?
Well, it's rewarding from a standpoint as a coach and as a teacher that you see young people come together and grow through a season, and really have done from the very beginning of really ignoring outside predictions and noise and those type of things, and really believed in each other way back, almost a year ago. In April was the first time I walked into the weight room in the off season, and after last year's NCAA tournament, I could tell that there was the new leadership, so to speak, the younger guys that were now going to become older guys, had a drive to them, and had a goal in mind of being a really good team. What that all entailed and what came with being a really good team. Obviously, we've seen that play out and still playing out. But just to watch them all come together and believe in what they were doing and believe in each other, and that's been the neat part of it. I think the wins and championships and trophies and stuff like that we've acquired through the year are great. They're great mementos, but it's the memories of those behind the scenes times that are really stand out, and I think you appreciate the most.
Coach, what makes Johnny Davis so special?
His competitiveness. I think that's the number one trait. I mean, he's obviously an electric athlete, got size, length, those type of things. Really has improved his skill set's gotten stronger, and I think he's still not where he will be and can be down the road in his future. But the number one thing I've always said with him is his will to compete and his desire to be successful. And he said all along that he never would get consumed in individual accolades. He sat in my office a year ago after the postseason meetings and said, I just want to make sure our team wins. And knowing he was going to have a bigger stage and a brighter light on him, he's handled it exceptionally well, and he's obviously played at a really high level.
Will what happens in the next couple of weeks determine whether he's back in Madison next year, do you believe?
That's not for me to determine and decide. Obviously, he has future goals and aspirations, and my job is to help him and along with his teammates with all those. So I don't know. I haven't talked to him really about any of that stuff since before the year. And when the year's done, hopefully that's in another 3 weeks. We can keep this train rolling. We'll go cross that bridge when we get to it. So for me right now to throw out any predictions or I'd be like those guys back in the fall that were projecting us to be 10th. I'd make myself look like I didn't know what I was talking about. So whatever happens, we'll support him and be with him side by side through it all.
I want to ask you about the dynamic with Johnny and his twin Jordan being on the team. What's that like in practice? Two ultra competitive guys who grew up in the same house. Is it kind of fun to watch what happens when we don't get to see what's happening?
Yeah, I haven't had to break up any brother fights, probably like their mom and dad did back in the day, but they do compete with each other. Every drill that we go one-on-one with, they always seem to find each other for it. And they're both obviously, you look at twins and all the things that can be alike and similar, but they're two different people. Jordan is way more outgoing than Johnny. Johnny's kind of a man of few words. Jordan wears his emotions on his sleeve much more than what Johnny does and always has. I mean, even back to high school when we were recruiting him, that Jordan, we could always get to talk. Johnny, we couldn't get 2 words out of. So it's been neat just to watch their dynamic and how they compete with each other, but also at the same time, really support each other. Jordan has loved Johnny's success. Johnny has really supported Jordan when he's gotten in and done good things. And they also hold each other accountable. They're the first to get on the other if something doesn't go right. So it's been a cool dynamic and relationship to watch.
Greg Gard, coach of Wisconsin men's basketball team, with us on WTMJ. Colgate on Friday. Is it tougher to prepare for a team that you don't see very often, out of a conference you don't see very often?
Well, I think that's probably 50-50 for them too. They don't see us or haven't played anybody in the Big Ten. So it's, as I've always said, all the bad teams have their toes in the sand right now, John. So those teams are done and on break and enjoying spring break wherever they may be. No matter who we were going to face, it's going to be a good team. And obviously a team that's had a lot of success. They're very old. They're very smart, very disciplined, very fundamentally sound. They shoot it exceptionally well and shoot a lot of threes. So it would be a challenge whether it was Colgate or Connecticut or California. It didn't matter. It was going to be somebody that's going to be good. It's won a conference championship, would have won between 25 and 30 games, and it'll be, you can really wipe out all the 3 and the 14s and the 2 and the 15s and erase all those numbers because there's so much parity and teams are good, and you have to be better than what they are for 40 minutes. And there's things that they do really well we're going to have to try to negate, and I'm sure there's things that we do well that they're looking at trying to counter as well.
Coach, do you fill out a bracket?
No, I don't. Not anymore. Not since I used to when I was an assistant. Now when I realize your feet are right in the fire, I don't get into it. I have too many emotional ties to most teams because I know somebody probably everywhere in the 68 teams that are in it. So I look at it. I'll watch games here and there, maybe not in entireties, but focus more on our team and what our next game is.
Coach, I want to ask you about the Guarding Against Cancer Foundation. You and your wife, Michelle, founded the foundation. It does a lot of good work. We talk a lot about what you do on the court, but you also do a lot off the court. Tell us about the foundation and why it's important.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we started, shortly after I was named the permanent head coach here back in 2015-16 season. It's just, I lost my dad to brain cancer in October of 2015, and we had always been involved with cancer fundraising and awareness and those things. But I think going through that experience and then combining that with becoming the head coach, knowing we were going to have a platform and a voice to be able to help people in places across the state of Wisconsin. Both Michelle and I grew up in the state. We both went to UW system schools in the state, have worked in various capacities in education across the state. So we felt it was important for us to really help the state and help those people around us. So hence all the money stays in the state, and we do the various outreach, basically grassroots events across the state, a variety of communities we've been in already in the past 5 years. And then obviously we help, with research and those things going on at Carbone. So here in Madison. So it's a cause that's obviously very close to us. My mom actually was recently diagnosed with breast cancer, so she's going through treatment right now. So, we've been fortunate that we've been in this position, that we've met so many great people and are able to help. And obviously when you have a personal really experience behind it, or personal experiences, it helps make the cause, I think, more real, and you understand what people go through when they're fighting this disease.
He is the Badger men's head basketball coach, playing Colgate on Friday here in Milwaukee. He is Greg Gard. Coach, thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Hey, thanks for having me on.